Hello, it's Mike with MatterFix.io, and today we're going to talk about inverted or upside down scanning. And that is where you need to scan an area that's below where you and the camera or the tripod are going to be. The most typical example of this is scanning a manhole, but it can be used for underground electrical vaults, storage tanks, if you're on a scaffolding or some type of platform and for some reason you need to scan down but you can't access down below. So essentially you're lowering the camera down and performing the scan, and usually you'll go down to the bottom of the area you're going to scan, do a scan, raise the camera up a certain number of feet, do another one, another one, another one, and build the model. Now the problem with that is if you take, this is the Pro2 camera, if you were to take this camera and turn it upside down and scan it, everything is going to be upside down in your dollhouse model. It's really hard to visually navigate it in that when everything is kind of oriented 180 degrees different. So what we've done for the Pro2, we're able to actually, we've converted this camera. So we've taken the sensor array out, flipped it over, reversed the USB cables so that it's basically scanning. If you were to scan in this position, everything would show up upside down. And the last thing we've done is you need to, since it's inverted, you need to reverse the polarity of the motor so it turns in the opposite direction as it usually does. And we've done that on this camera. So for this Pro2, with this conversion on it, when you scan upside down, it's going to present the dollhouse and everything in the normal orientation. And so typically when you're scanning down, you're using there's some of the larger commercial duty tripods have the ability not just to crank and have that shaft go up that the camera is mounted on, but you can actually insert the shaft from the bottom, crank, and when you crank, send it down, and then add extensions to it as you go down and go down. I think some could go down 25 or 30 feet. So what you have to do is come up with a way to attach the camera. Those shafts and most survey grade equipment, if it doesn't have the standard 3/8 inch stud like we have on our Manfrotto tripods, it's going to have a 5/8 inch coarse thread stud on it. That's fairly standard. So your shaft going down is going to have that on it. We provide an adapter that goes on the bottom of the camera, a quick connector. So you would, the kit would come, if you were to get the rental kit from us, scan upside down, it'll come like this. You simply remove this quick connector piece, thread it on the end of the shaft that's going to lower the camera, insert it here, push the button, and it locks firmly into place. And then you're going to basically crank it down and do your scanning. So that's kind of the setup for the Pro2. The next I'm going to show you how we do inverted scanning with the Pro3 camera. Okay, for doing inverted scanning with the Pro3 camera, the main difference is there's no way to go in and, like we did on the Pro2, to change the physical orientation of the sensors to make it where you can scan it upside down and have it show up right. So the only solution that we've been able to come up with there is we've designed this camera cage. So it's essentially weighted on the bottom, which helps keep it steady when it's rotating. Your T-mount is here. The camera clips in like this, goes over to here, and then we have the similar, so you have the shaft that would come down from your tripod. It has a 5/8 inch stud on it, and then we have that same quick connector on the top of this cage. So you would take the quick connector piece off, thread it on the end of the shaft that comes down from your tripod, and basically lock it in place like that. And then the camera would sit like that, hanging down there, and you would scan the same way. You would lower it down. We found it makes the most sense to lower it all the way to the bottom of where you're going to scan, and then incrementally go up, say 2 or 3 feet each time. So that's the way that works with the Pro3. keeping the camera upright. This is the only thing we can come up with. We've had clients use this, this particular setup before, and they've been happy with the results. These are, I believe, 1/8 or 1/16 inch metal rods here, so they are visible in the scan, but they don't affect the data that much. They're not that big, and you can kind of compensate for that for the thickness of those kind of when you're doing your modeling and that, because you know where they're going to be at. So that's the setup for the Pro3. Next, we're going to go over the lighting. Okay, as you can imagine, typically when you're down scanning or inverted scanning, you're going to be going into, say, a manhole. And as you can imagine, it's going to be dark, so you need some type of lighting source. And we use the same solution we do for conventional scanning as far as lighting goes. These are Sputtig dive lights that are available on Amazon. I think they're about 30 bucks a piece or something like that. They actually are fairly bright when you put them on the total bright setting. I think they run about 3 hours between charges. If you're going to be doing longer scanning time, I suggest having 2 sets of lights, and that way you can just rotate them off and charge them when you're using the other ones. And then as far as the mounting solution goes, these have the GoPro, the typical GoPro mount clips on them. You can buy you want to get the flat one, buy these on Amazon, they're cheap enough. On a Pro2, we put 2 of them slightly angled out so that you're capturing a little bit wider beam of light. They're really easy to install. They simply slide in like that and like that, and you can tilt them up and down a little bit like that, but we found this works really well for scanning. Now, is it going to be bright enough to do like a virtual tour type of scan, that quality? No, but the lighting is going to be good enough for most all cases where you're going to be doing a down scanning, where you just want a good, be able to see the details in it. So these work quite well. So that's on the Pro2, and then it's essentially the same thing on the Pro3. This is what we do on the Pro3 for conventional scanning when people need light, but this would be your down scan mount. We've got 2 of the GoPro clips mounted on the side of the camera. You basically put them here. They're oriented so they're pretty much, as far as this plane, they're straight. We tilt them out slightly so that you can catch the full width of each capture as the camera rotates around. So there again, you can see there. They seem to provide plenty of light. There are other lighting solutions out there, but we found this is the easiest, most practical one, and they're relatively inexpensive. Okay, I finished up this video, and then I realized I didn't talk about the options for purchasing or renting these inverted camera kits or the mounts. So we'll start with the Pro3 and the rentals. There's 2 options if you want to rent the equipment to do the inverted scanning with the Pro3. The first option would be that you already have a camera, Pro3, you're good to go. You can come up with a way, purchase the lights and the clips to get the lights on your camera. So really the only thing you need is the cage. And we would rent this to you. It would come just like this. There's a 3/8" threaded stud there for you to put your T-mount on, mount the camera on. And then there's the quick release here like we described that, will go on the end of your down rod, that 5/8" threaded stud, and then quickly clip into here. So the rental on this is $75 a day with a 3-day minimum, so that'd be $225 minimum. There's no insurance on that, and you would, in addition to that, you would pay shipping. So that's the first option on renting just the mount so that you can use your own camera equipment. The second option is you would rent essentially this, but we would also send you one of our Pro3 Essentials kit, which would include the camera, the batteries, the T-mount, the charger. So then you would put the T-mount on here, set it up like we talked about, put the camera on, and do the scanning. So this, you would have everything you need except for a capture device, which can be typically any iPad or anything to operate the Matterport capture app on. So that's the complete rental setup there, and that is $200 per day. We have a 3-day minimum, so that would be $600. There's a $50 insurance fee that you pay one time, and then the shipping. So that covers the Pro3 rental options. And then on the Pro2, the only rental option we have is we send you everything complete, ready to go. This is the camera that's been inverted. It'll have the lights with it, and it'll have the quick release adapter here. It's ready to go. You would basically hang it like that and do your scanning. And the rental price on this is $100 a day, 3-day minimum, $25 insurance, and then you'd pay shipping on top of that. So figure $300 plus $25 plus another maybe $80 total on the shipping for that. So that covers the rental options. And then on the sales options, for the Pro3, we can sell you this mount here. Is everything basically ready to go? You would supply the T-mount, the camera with the lights on it, but you'd get this and keep it. The price on this is $600, and we do include, for this, there's no shipping. We got free shipping. So $600 to purchase it. And then on the Pro2, there's a couple of different options, but the main one is that if you have a Pro2 camera and you want to set it up for down scanning, you can send it to us, and for $400, we'll do the conversion. So that means we'll flip the sensor array around and change the wiring there, and then rewire the stepper motor so that it operates backwards. So basically, it'll be ready to go when you get it back. You will need to put lights on it, and then you will need to come up with a way to attach it to your inverted scanning rod off of your tripod. We can provide you with the links to purchase these two things, or I guess if you want, let us know and we could just add it in. But typically, when we do this conversion, it wouldn't include that or the lights, and that's a one-time cost of $400. So that pretty much covers the rental and the purchase options on these down scanning kits. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show you is each of these cameras hanging from this pole to simulate what, the setup that you would have. Show them suspended with the lights on in my garage with the ambient lighting off. You'll get to see how messy my garage is probably, but it'll give you kind of a reasonable idea of how the cameras operate. The thing to keep in mind is when you're doing the inverted scanning, the longer this pole, this shaft is, the further down you're going, the more likely it is for it to move when the camera's rotating. You'll probably see a little bit of movement in it. You can reduce that with the Pro3 by scanning on high density because the camera moves really slowly, which is going to minimize any kind of wobble. That's also why we've added the weights on the Pro3 cage to minimize that wobble. And the Pro2 has a little bit of wobble. It's typically not too bad. Another thing you can do to minimize that is if your pole is down, say you're down 12 feet into the hole, if you can attach any kind of a side brace somewhere on the pole and offset it a little bit to help steady it, that will reduce most all of the wobble. But chances are you're going to get some wobble in here, but the clients that we've had use it for scanning electrical vaults and manholes have felt like the wobble wasn't significant enough in what they were needing to do to cause any problems. Okay, so here's the Pro2 camera. You can see the pole coming down. That's how it would be hanging from your tripod inverted. Here's the camera, here's the lights on it, and I'm going to initiate a scan so you can see it moving. And this pole is pretty short from where it's mounted, and it's fairly rigid, so we essentially didn't get any wobble in that. So that's the Pro2. Next, I'm going to show you the Pro3. Okay, so here is the Pro3 in the inverted scanning cage. You can see the pole coming down, the quick connect there, the camera, and we have the lights on it. Now, like I said, we typically recommend scanning in the high density mode. So I just initiated a scan. And as you can see, of course, it's going to move super slow, but that's actually good because that's going to reduce any potential wobble, especially if the pole, you know, if you're scanning down and the camera's down 15 or 20 feet below the surface there. So you can see it moving along, get an idea of what it looks like. And by the way, this will fit inside a 24 by 24 inch opening. I think it's actually it'll fit inside a 23 inch diameter circle. So a 24 by 24 opening, it'll fit fine within. I'm not going to show you the whole thing here because it takes forever on high density, but this gives you an idea. And you can see the lighting, the way we've got it positioned. They're slightly offset so that you're capturing a wider area. Okay, that covers the options for down scanning or inverted scanning, which can be done with the Pro3 or with the Pro2. And we have options where you can rent the equipment or you can purchase the equipment. So if you've got any questions, message us on Facebook, contact us through our website, and we look forward to doing business with you. Thanks.